Somebody's experiment recently with one private machine, one web access machine, and by getting, they were passing information just through the temperature, keeping track of the fan blowing. The amount the fan is on was a coded signal. Based on the code that was running, was to transmit information at a couple of bits per second. But,
well, that's like the way the old CRT,
But I guarantee it's
Do you want to plug in just to see that it's working? That might be a good idea, so that we don't have to have dead time in the middle of the actual.
and you get the play music on your nearby radio.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like the old Tempest noise. It's transferring the program.
Okay, the series.
Computer classification.
No,
Here it is.
Radiation.
No matter how you hold it, it's always going to be upside down. There, wait. It's getting video. Yes. It figured it out. That's impressive. You're good?
Yeah.
I'll take it back for 15 minutes, and then it'll be all yours. All right.
Coding at that point, make it fast.
Okay, a little while ago, I mentioned these bunch of ne'er-do-wells from Apple who sat down with these other guys and said, we guarantee that we will use a standard connector so that everybody's phone chargers would work with everybody else's phones. And then they went home and did something else entirely. Then there were these other guys that had a big meeting about the next generation of memory. And they sat down at this big conference and they said, okay, these are the standards that the next generation of memory will use. And then these guys ran home and patented everything that was talked about at the meeting. So they could be the only ones that owned the patents to implement the next generation of memory. Yes, well, it's like Voldemort. We don't speak their name.
Yeah. So if you have to ask who it was, it's all.
Well, it was just one in particular. Yes. It's interesting. This is the first time I've ever seen them ask the same question twice in a row. At least once. See if you were paying attention. So anyway, there's the Apple power connector. All those billions and billions of bits of information. Cray. This guy built a Cray and he had a COS disk pack and he was able to, I guess, figure out what was happening when the Cray OS boots. It's kind of interesting stuff. I think he asked for help on Craigslist or something, I don't know. But well, he didn't go out. He didn't just go out to Kraymart and buy one. I mean, he actually built it. Rimshot. Never mind. So this is apparently a bare metal fourth for the Raspberry Pi. Oh, wrong screen.
That's WebIOP.
WebIOP.
Then the next paragraph, what is this paragraph?
Bare metal fourth interpreter for the Raspberry Pi follows the general strategy given by David Welch's excellent examples. A simple bootloader boot in, the RPI serial console with a lot of baud. That's as many baud as I think I've ever seen in one place at one time.
You need it to be faster, but I've never seen that replicated before.
Well, I guess one might say 115 kilobaud. So welcome to the afternoon part of the June SVFIG meeting. And I guess rumors, gossip, announcements, skullduggery, mockery, sarcasm, wit.
But no dark sarcasm in the classroom. That's the rule.
Yes, okay.
I tell my students that. Point.
All right. So this is XKCD, and what brought it to mind was that it's a webcomic of romance, sarcasm, math, and language. But if you have a tablet,
What's the text of the over?
yeah, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
If you have a tablet, how do you see the text? And the answer is you go to the mobile version of XKCD, and at the bottom there's a clicky that you can turn the text on and off as a separate box at the bottom of the comic.
More fun to go to explain XKCD.
Yes, it's more fun to go to explain XKCD. Sometimes I go there even when I understood the original XKCD. The problem that I have is that I do have a tablet, and there are other web comics, for example, OGLAF, where it's not suitable for work and they don't have a mobile version. So I guess if I'm at home and I'm not at work, I guess I can use my laptop for that. But I guess they need browsers for things without mice that have some way of looking at this text. But I guess in most of these tablet browsers, if you hold your finger down on it on the touch screen for long enough, you get options, but none of them is read the text, because that would be wrong. All right. What country has the most vending machines per capita? You think so?
Yeah.
What country has the most whiskey vending machines per capita? Japan. No, no. So John's right. Well, I don't know what the answer to this is, but as it turns out, most people call it the Caesar cipher. Not me, I'm shiftless.
What are the Dakotas, I think? Well, Wyoming.
So has anybody seen the new Jurassic Park movie?
Not yet. Well, I mean, I suppose must be millions of people north, and of course, the middle of the country. Yeah. Oh, Colorado. Well,
Sponsored by Intel with all the heatsink fins. See, this is the overclocked dinosaur. Ooh, I know. Wait for it. Going once, going twice. Sold. Yeah, they ran out of crazy glue, so they used the driver ants.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it's kind of a puzzle because South Pole is permanently inhabited.
The problem is, what was that woman that developed cancer? Well, she was down there and they're going, oh, how are we going to help her? Her and other people. Well, she did that.
Yeah, you cannot go unless you've had an appendectomy. That's too easy. All right, so has anybody thought of new things, interesting stuff? All right. So we've I think burned enough time to no good purpose. I'd like to introduce an esteemed presence in the fourth world. And it's a little bit early, but I think that there's a disclaimer on the agenda that says stuff happens sometimes. So with no further ado, Sam Chen. Yes. Belt that to your shirt. Don't touch it while you're speaking because that just makes a bunch of noise.
Okay, greeting to everybody. So, I came from Taiwan, and Dr. Ting is my college teacher, professor, and he brought forth to Taiwan, and so that's about 35 years ago. And we have regular meeting every month. actually, in the beginning, we meet every week, but too much. Later, regularly, we have meeting. And so far, oh, okay, what's it? Our executive director, Dr. Ching, want to greeting to everybody. And I'm Sam Chen, okay, secretary. We sincerely invited FIG member, everybody, to our annual meeting next year, if anyone available. Our theme will be focused on these 4 topics: heterogeneous multi-core computing architecture, 3D control accelerator designs, intelligent interactive IDE for IoT smart device, and multi-axial robotic designs. Welcome, everybody. FIG Taiwan plans to promote a 4th smart device based on Glenforce, designed by Mr. 27Jun2015 in Chinese. Sorry, is there any
Use the arrow keys.
here?
No, the arrow keys on
Oh,
the keyboard.
the FPGA smart display will be released in the annual meeting. Hopefully, can produce a 4th SoC chip at only $50. This year we participate. This year we have already participate of Maker Fair in Taipei. Next year, hopefully we can have more product. We also welcome global FIG member to contribute some designs.
Use the arrow key on the keyboard.
Oh, okay. Also, FIG Taiwan is willing and capable of providing global member prototyping and sample production service to move design idea to product quickly, if anybody need. So that's our executive director's message to you. Now, I'm trying to share JE Force. That's JavaScript E4. JavaScript E4. We developed for kids. Colorful painting, color painting on the web. So let's see. Here's the web page address. And today I'm going to show you sorry. Several, that's 2012. I told sixth grade, that's sixth grade student learning fourth in Chinese. Okay, this is here is the first picture he designed. At that time, I told him only circle. So only circle here, different colors. Next week, sorry. I told him lines. And next week, he got this. And adjust a little bit. And later. So, very, I'll show you next picture, next moving picture. See, this is, I told him we can do this. And this. Then let him try. And he got this. So it's hard to imagine that a creative by kids. Here's the things that I designed several years ago. You can see, firstly, a square, then more, and you got your heart. Okay. We trying to use Chinese instruction, Chinese word. Since most of the computer is designed by foreign, and in Taiwan, although kids learn English, but not that good to experience the programming joys. So we're trying to let them have this kind of joys. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be the beginner of the haiku. And yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yes. But this is really great, where you now, Forth is not just based on ASCII, but Unicode, and depending on where in the world you are. And it's still Forth.
Right.
Although it doesn't mean a lot to us, but I like it.
I'm going to show, recently I designed assembler in 328E4. Okay. I'm going to show a simple example, say how to let LED I/O working. Okay, and in assembly, what is the possible code in assembly, and equivalent high level code, and then show you the definition I defined. So actually in Arduino Uno, our E4, we can let the LED on the pin 13 turn on and turn off. Firstly, O, we can set the direction, and then H, turn on that LED, L, turn down that LED, turn off that LED. Just only one instruction, CPU instruction. So assembler is quite useful sometimes.
It makes very, very compact.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to get an equivalent high-level code, could be like this.
Yes.
Lots of work should be done, but that we're just showing only one instruction.
Yeah, exactly. What you've done is you've made these words primitives.
Yeah. And here is the code. Usually we should use create does, right?
Yeah.
But in 328E4, the create is used to allocate a RAM area. Used to allocate the RAM area. But if we use comma here, we can only get the value in the flash memory. So I create another word, say table, to get the value in flash memory.
Right. So what you're doing here is CBI and SBI. You're
Oh,
what? CBI
bits.
and SBI.
Yeah. Bits at means I use this instruction to get 3 bits at bit 0. So from begin from bit 0. I
It's like a masking.
Yeah, masking. Actually, that's masking.
Yes.
Yeah. From bits to the masking. Yeah. So later we get 3 bits, BBB, 3 bits, and 5 bits for the address. So I can reorganize the bits as a instruction code. So finally, if we use use A5B3 column, we can get CBI and SBI. CBI means clear bits, clear bits at that address, and SBI means set bit. Okay, that's only one CPU instruction we can do. Okay, this is what I want to share with you, and it seems. Okay, yeah, pictures. right. Oh, okay, yeah, here. Lots of pictures. Our annual meeting. Our active members. And a robotic. Yeah. Right. Let me. Well, it's working. That's it. "3D printer. The first cube. Actually, that's just before I came here. We construct our 3D printer.
Quick question. What is the material the cube is made from?
This material?
Yes.
Corn and plastic something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so thermoplastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically you can use it as like a prototype type of stuff, just to get an idea what it looks like. Yeah, it isn't something that, it's going to stand up. From what I understand, things built like that are very fragile.
See? Yeah. And this is a plotter. And the Maker Fair, our sharing. This is a 6th grade student. 6th grade.
12 years old.
About.
So how many people, at the Maker Fair?
It's about 10,000.
How much interest at your booth was
Well,
from the people that passed by?
we didn't really count. but we have met some friends from Japanese. We have Japanese friend come to our booth, and some 记者. Yeah. Well, we hopefully next year we can have better performance. This is our first. Okay, that's it. The pictures, and I'm gonna show you Wait a minute. Oh. What? Sorry. Ah. Oh. Sorry, I just closed it. Okay, I'm going to show you the IDE. You see here. Hmm? Sorry. Doesn't work. Well, that's it.
He's got battery costs, 80%.
See? What is it? Huh? Oh.
Yes.
Get the power.
Move.
Yeah, because he's done much more improved the hyperterminal for the Arduino. And I think that's very interesting. You can download the files and see lots of log stuff. So these Taiwan people here, they have done lots of.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It was in a hidden window.
Okay, firstly, I close the connection, then reconnect. KTTY is our IDE for connecting to 328 eForce. Okay, and that eForce can have turnkey. If some application loop forever, before getting that loop, we can have 3 minutes chance to break, to get in force first. Otherwise, we got problem. so 3 minutes. The first 3 seconds. Sorry, the first line Chinese means in 3 seconds you can press escape. Okay. And this KTTY is colorful. So all the input is blue. All inputs in blue color. And the Chinese character over there is okay. That's green. And now I can press dot to print out 3. That's black. Okay. So all the input and output. That's easy to distinguish. Okay. And now we can see dupe. Wow, sorry, something. Something wrong. Okay, again. Very good. We can have word. Lots, including some tools that we can use. So to set the output direction of that pin, okay, we can use 5PB output. And then 5PB high. That would be on. And 5PB low. Off. That's all in high level. And now I'm going to load the assembler using file transfer. In other terminal, say hyper terminal, we need to have line delay. Otherwise, we're going to have problem.
Right.
But here, we use some special code. Say one emit. Our KTDY get the one. No, that's 5 emit. 5 means wait for command.
Right.
So before next command, eForce.
So basically, it's like a delay.
Right, and not delay.
Right. Right. Okay.
Sync.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah. So once I know the eForce ready, I can send the command directly. So no waiting. So line delay is 0. Actually, we can also put line delay over there, but if time is not enough, you're going to have problem. Okay, now all the assembler we have now, and I have just designed. I have a instruction say O. O means set the direction, right? CO. That's in assembly. Only one instruction. A4. A means address. Address 4. Actually, that's $24. Actually, that's hexadecimal 24. But address, we have only 5 bits. 5 bits. So that we got only 4. And B5 means bit 5. Okay, so we use that address, set that bit. So set bit that done. And then we can see height. A5, B5 set bit. Okay.
It looks identical.
No, the first address different.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Address. Yeah. And then you can see low. Clear bit.
Yes.
And even we can have toggle. T. Different edges. So now we can use T to turn on. And the T again to turn off. Yeah? So that's one machine instruction. We can do that. Okay, that's it. Now, next. Who's next?
So you could actually go in and do like SVFIG if you wanted.
Yeah. SVI. But, well, I got some.
Sorry.
Should have.
Thank you.
Yeah. I should fix it.
It's a bug. It's really a bug.
You want to use your computer over here?哦 ，the power 不够哈，刚才那个，对，刚才好像没有不够 power 不够，所以他没有办法 drive 那个你的。Get your mic. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sam's son lives in the Bay Area, and he's got a grandkid here. So we're always happy to have him visiting. Let me see. Okay, this is not what I want. Yes, Sam. I'm sorry that I was telling Sam. Don't put on too many pictures. Don't put on too many slides. You don't have lots of time, but you do have lots of time. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. You see, I was trained as a spectroscopist at the University of Chicago a long time ago. So as a spectroscopist, I get excited when I see sharp spectrums. And so recently I thought, well, you know, I've learned enough about the spectroscopy. I learned enough about the computers. I learned enough about electronics. So maybe I can build a spectrometer for myself. And so I was looking through the various things. You know, to build a spectrometer, the first thing you have to consider is get a good grating. Yeah. And the good grating are very expensive. Okay. Even now, I think it's about $200 for good grating. That's very cheap now. But in the early days, it's thousands, tens of thousands for a good grating. So I was looking on Google the gratings, looking over the Amazon and all these places, found some grating that I want a concave grating. You can get a flat grating, but you need lots of mirrors to focus the light. But if you have a concave grating, that would do the dispersion and focusing all in one piece. So what you need is a very good slit that you can adjust, and a good concrete grating, and a good sensor. So that's all you need, but it doesn't come together very easily. Hmm? Well, light source, it's whatever you want to look at. Okay. Yeah. So while I was looking and found one website, an MIT website. Let me see if I can get to that. Okay. So this is from MIT.
2-inch by 4-inch pieces of foam board, a 2.5-inch square piece of foam board, rolls of duct tape and masking tape.
Oh, sorry. You just talk about. Yeah. No, that's okay. I just talk. He's showing how to build a spectroscope, and he just get 4 pieces of foam and tape them together into a tube, and on the one end do a slit, and on the other end put a piece of CD on it. Okay, and you got yourself a spectroscope. Okay, make it. Okay, make a nice tube, light tight. Okay, very simple. Okay. So you have to make a slit. Okay. Use a square foam and use 2 blades to make a very nice slit. Okay. And he said, well, you need, and actually, the quality of your slit determines your resolution. Okay, yeah, you have a very narrow slit, you get better resolution, but you get less light. If you are more light, you do a wider slit, but you suffer in the resolution. So he said, yeah, just shine the light on the slit. You direct as much light you can. Or if you have a really good lab, you use lenses to focus the source onto the slit. Hmm?
Even though the slit is small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. You need to focus your light onto the slit. So on the other end, this is the slit. Okay. Okay. Here is the slit. Yeah, you see the slit there, and prepare the CD. Got a CD. You see, the CD has aluminum backing to reflect the light, and he just tried to remove this the backing, and exposing the grating, and you got the transmission grating. Okay.
This is a transmission.
Yeah, this is a. But you if you can use it as a reflective grating, okay, without any change. Yeah, but if you peel off the backing, and you get yourself a transmission grating. Okay, cut it up. Hmm? Right. But you want to cut it. You want to cut it. Okay. Who cares about the data? Okay, just tape it over. You have to line up the grating is curved. You have a straight slit. This thing, you have to align it. If you align it nicely, the dispersion will be parallel to the slit, okay? But if you have it curved, then the diffraction goes to sideways. Now, this is the grating. This is the spectrogram. And use a cell phone, and you can take a picture of the spectrum. And the cell phone is very nice because it automatically try to figure out what's out there and do the focusing and everything. Okay, yeah. So that's it. Okay, so that's the yeah, that's the well, this is the slit, okay, and then on one side he's photographing the compact fluorescence light. So you get the two blue light, green and red. Yes. This is the first order. And you have first order on this side, first order on the other side. Yeah. So, so okay. So that's the. It's so easy. Okay. And I couldn't resist but to go ahead and build myself. Yes. It also, if you have a longer length, the resolution will be better because the angle of this same angle, but when you have it longer, it disperses more. Okay. Let me see. Show. Okay. Let me just go through this thing. All right. So I got that excited. CD are manufactured with extraordinary technology. No, it was so precise and so small. And yes. Yes. 1.6 lines per micrometer, I think. Yeah. That's a spacing. That's a spacing. Yeah. And that's exactly what you want in a visible spectroscopy. Okay. And it's manufactured so precise that I think it rivals the mechanically ruled gratings of old days. Okay. So it's a extraordinary piece of technology. It's becoming so ordinary because everybody has, you don't know how many CDs you have in your closet, okay? And when each one is so precise that you can use it to build a spectrograph. And the CD are excellent gratings, very precise, despite the circular. The only trouble is that it's circular, okay? But that doesn't matter that much if you are looking through it as a scope, and mostly you only take a very small portion of it, so the arcing is not a problem. So you can build spectroscope, spectrograph, and spectrometers very easily, very cheaply, costing almost nothing. Okay, spectroscopes. When I talked about glass, okay, when people start learn how to manufacture glass, not just for windows, but the very pure glass, very clear glass, and they started making lenses, and then started making telescopes. They start to make microscopes and all this. So the scopes are basically using your eyes, but eyes are very nice, very sensitive instruments. And if you rely on eyeballs, you build scopes. Okay, a very simple spectroscope can be built with one piece of CD, and you can enhance it any way you want. So I just started building. I built one. Use a box. Oh, let me see. I have slides for it. The first one, I just go run off to the post office, get there. That's called what's it called? The boxes. Yeah, it's the what are they called? Yeah, it's the shipping box. Some delivery flat rate boxes. So you cut a vertical hole here. Cut another hole there, put a piece of grating there. You got yourself a spectroscope. I built 5 of them, given to three sons and daughters for their kids. And now I think, oh, that looks awful. That doesn't look like anything, any instrument. So I start to build myself many of these. I went to, I thought, well, I use, I can go to Home Depot and get these tubes cut down and get some end pieces, drill a hole in it, put a slit there, and put my piece of CD there. So that's. But the problem with this is that although it's black, but it still reflects. Very bad reflection. So I thought, well, I get a black cloth and I try to tape it over. Doesn't work very well. But then Home Depot has this foam, right? I just cut it and try to insert it. And then I thought, well, why do I need this tube? I have this one, right? It stands along quite well. So I started build this thing. It's even cheap. And the slit, according to the video, you use 2 blades and tape them really together. But that's hard, okay, to get the 2 very fine slit in parallel. And I found that I can use a piece of aluminum foil and just use that blade to cut it, and I can get very fine slit. Yes, it's like a pinhole, but pinhole is very difficult to make. But this
resource area for teachers over at San Jose. They're tubes about yay long, yay big around,
Yes.
circular piece of diffraction grating, and the other side you cut a tin foil in a slit, and they're like cardboard. You could use a toilet paper tube or a paper towel tube. Same thing, and they're very absorptive. And they won't reflect on the inside.
Usually they do. Okay. Yeah. So if you look through.
The one that from RAM, that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That.
they come in big kits. And
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And since I have enough fun of them, so you can take them take them home. Okay. I don't want to bring them home. Okay. You can have them for fun. So I made I've already give people several, and these 4 are left over. So if you like, just take them home, and have lots of fun with your kids and grandkids for that matter. Okay, now this is what excites me was this compact fluorescent lamp. Yeah. So over the years there's a fluorescent lamp, long tubes, and these the phosphors in the old fluorescent lamp are not very efficient. They were the best at the time, but they were not efficient enough. And the most efficient phosphors now are the rare earth phosphors. So these lamps are all are mercury discharge lamp inside. Okay, you put high voltage.
Yeah, isn't these CFLs, don't they also, the operating frequency is much higher?
No, 60 cycles.
Still 60
cycles.
cycles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have initially you put high voltage to ignite the discharge.
Right.
And once the charge is ignited, it will maintain current. And it's fluctuate 60 cycles.
But the nice thing about mercury, it's got a lot of emission lines.
Yes. So the mercury is very efficient in converting electricity into light, but the light produced mostly is in deep ultraviolet. Okay, so you cannot see. So you cannot use it. Remember this thing? Remember this? This lamp, UV eraser, and that's a mercury discharge tube. It inside a quartz envelope, so that the ultraviolet can be transmitted out of it. And you use the UV light, which is 254 nanometer. Yeah, millimicron, okay, and that's deep UV. This you cannot see it, so you don't want to see it unless you want to get suntan, okay. So most of the energy is in the ultraviolet, and if you put the phosphorus, coat the phosphorus inside the bulb, and convert the ultraviolet into visible, and that's the phosphorus. Okay, this is a long story. Okay, what I want to, when I study spectroscopy at the University of Chicago, my thesis advisor, he's an expert on these phosphors, and he actually studied ruby and decoded the spectrum of ruby. And so later on, when this guy I think in MIT built the first visible laser based on ruby, and he said, "Oh, I should have invented the ruby laser because all the work are based on his studies." So he's very good in this phosphorus metal fluorescent. And then when I came here to work for Lockheed, the guy who hired me, he's an expert on this phosphor, and he actually holds many patents on the turbine fluorescent material. And the turbine phosphor at the time was the most efficient phosphor ever. Okay, and so Lockheed got lots of patents, and he used this phosphor to convert X-ray into visible, so that he can use low light cameras to capture the X-ray images. And then at the time, these phosphor screens were also used by X-ray industry, and they actually use two pieces of this phosphorus making screens, and sandwich in between is the photographic film. And so they have two screens. The screens convert the X-ray into light, and then expose the film. And when it first came out, films are mostly for X-ray. Okay, so they are not very sensitive to green light. But then Kodak, of course, improved their process to get it to respond more efficiently to the green light. And the Kodak, since they developed the film, so they start to produce these screens and to go with their films. And they sell a lot because Kodak almost monopolized the X-ray film industry. And the Lockheed sued Kodak and won the lawsuit. So Kodak has to stop manufacturing all the screens and pay loyalty to Lockheed. And so that was the starting of this phosphor. And what they did is use yttrium. Yttrium is the first element in the rare earth theory series, and it does not have any color, okay, because I think it doesn't have the F electrons. So this yttrium crystal is yttrium oxide is transparent and doesn't fluoresce. But if you put a little bit of turbine in it, the crystal would absorb ultraviolet light or electron excitation, and then convert the light into green fluorescent. And if people first used the yttrium oxide, and they got good phosphorus, but the professor, my boss, Dr. Buchanan, Robert Buchanan, he found that if he treated the yttrium oxide with sulfur and replaced some of the oxygen with sulfur atom, and that boosts the efficiency even further. And so that he's got the best green phosphorus. And then if you put europium in place of terbium, it's the most efficient red phosphor. Okay.
Are these also used in X-ray telescopes?
I think so. I think it has to be, because X-ray has to be converted down to visible before you can process it.
One of my classmates worked on the Chandra satellite, an X-ray observatory. And one of the things they wanted to know was what
Yeah.
X-ray.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that X-rays are everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The X-ray,
Mm-hmm.
the X-ray sky is just unbelievable. Just so bright.
Okay, so this European, when they first found the European phosphor, at the time, everybody's looking for red phosphor because red phosphorus, the efficiency is very low. So, you know, when they build a TV, they have to reduce the green light output so that it can match, match the white color. So people were always looking for good red phosphor until European phosphor came out, and it was so bright, and it changes the TV industry and changed lots of things. And then yes, yeah. So it right. So you know it's the phosphor can be excited by ultraviolet light. It can also be excited by electron and also X-ray and yeah. So this is the industry changed because of the technology. Okay, and then all the older fluorescent lamps, they use their if you use the scope, look at the spectrum, they are you know, continuous and efficiency is low. And finally, they settle down. The turbine, European, in the yttrium, it's called sulfur sulfide, okay, crystals. And now, all the CFLs are produced in China, okay, because China has a monopoly, almost the monopoly on the rare earth elements. Almost.
The reason I noticed when I go home to Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
the last
Mm-hmm.
high point,
Mm-hmm.
you go down,
Mm-hmm.
there's a place called Mount Pass.
Mm-hmm.
It really, it's a city, it's
Mm-hmm.
an incorporated city, but all it is a rare earth mine.
Yeah. There's lots of places which has lots of rich deposit on rare earth, but China has supplied 80% of the.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So that was very interesting. And then the turbine, when you look through the spectroscope, you see the green light. Green light is turbine, and there's a blue line, a little bit thin. It is also from turbine. And the group of spectral lines in the red region, they are all from European.
Oh, okay. That's the reason why the red region see
Yeah, many lines. So, mm-hmm.
sort of in the yellow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
So,
if you look at it, you can see the blue
mm-hmm.
is really sharp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very sharp blue line. That's mercury.
Right. Yes.
Okay. I mean the violet, the blue line is it's a broader blue line. That's from turbine. So you know most of the these spectrum when you are in the gas phase, it's very sharp. That's atomic spectrum. Mm-hmm. But when you put these materials into liquid, into solid, all the spectrum gets broadened. Okay, and sometimes you know pure crystals does not fluoresce because when you have too many of these atoms together, they interact, and finally they get rid of the energy without emitting any light. Okay, so only when you have this kind of mixed crystal, you have a transparent background of atoms, and you have a few of these atoms which can emit, okay, and they have the best efficiency. If the background molecules can absorb the X-ray or the electron energy, and then they can transfer the energy into the embedded low concentration molecules, and these molecules fluoresce very efficiently.
that's like the Aurora Borealis.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's where the light gets emitted way high up. And that's really thin. Because the charged particles
Yeah.
come into the excitement oxygen, nitrogen, atoms. Those things remain excited for a very long time. Now, if you're down here in this atmosphere, the problem is if you excite one of those atoms and it stays excited, what happens is it'll bump into another atom and then
Yeah.
excite that
Yeah.
without emitting photon.
Yeah, I think the last thing I want to mention, the spectroscopy of things, is that the rare earth elements, their electrons are embedded very close in the core because they are F electrons. F electrons are very much close to the core, so they do not get affected too much by the surrounding atoms, and so these rare earth phosphors, they fluoresce very sharp lines, and that's very rare in the field of spectroscopy. Okay, here this is in one of my box spectroscope. You just take a video camera, and you can capture this. But the resolution is not very good. So it's the slit is wide, and the resolution is not good. The focusing is difficult to control, but you can see many of the light. And if it in a documented literature, you can find these two lines are from Mercury, and the broader green light are from turbine, and this very sharp line in the green is from Mercury, and this group is all from European. Very interesting, and Okay, so this CFL spectrum, the mercury discharge produce very sharp spectrum line in the ultraviolet blue and green. Ultraviolet light from mercury excites turbine and European phosphors. Turbine produces blue and green colors, and European produce red color. These phosphors are very efficient, and that's why now all the CFLs are using them. Okay, mercury discharge lamp. And it's low pressure discharge mercury lamp. It has very sharp atomic emission spectrum. And we use the deep UV light to erase UV EEPROM in the old days until flash memory came. And it has a very sharp line in blue and green. So, if you care, we can put this one right against the slit, and you can see basically the blue line and green line. Very nice. But all the fluorescence lamp are based on this mercury discharge, and that's why you are asked not to throw away your CFL and the fluorescent line, and they have to be collected because of hazardous of the mercury. So this is the one I was very. If you wanted to, okay, yeah, this is the spectrum that I took last night. You can see these two lines are very sharp, and this shows that the CD, the grading of CD is very nice. Otherwise, these lines will blur. Okay, so only very good gratings can produce very sharp spectrum, and this is the mercury spectrum. Okay. Okay, that was a spectroscope. Okay, you use your eyeball to look at the dispersed light, and the spectrograph was after the photographic film was invented, and they start to use photographs to record the spectrum, and that's called a photograph, spectrograph. Yeah, and now modern digital camera has millions of pixels and are capable of recording good spectrograph, just like they can capture good photographs. So digital cameras are very good instrument if you use it right. But the digital spectrographs still needs development, just like the film. You take a picture, it's digital, but you have to, take the memory and stick in your PC and go through something to get the picture out in a format that you can develop it, you can see it. Okay.
Done that.
Hmm?
Astronomy has done that.
Of course.
Again, when I was at school, we worked with photographic plates,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to get in there and measure.
Measure wavelengths.
Yeah, we had to measure lines. We had to, compare, like iron spectrum.
Yes.
What we saw in the star, and we had to go to like 1,000th of an angstrom, which is like a tenth of a picometer. It was,
That's how you get your PhD. Okay.
Now they do the same thing, only it goes onto a CCD. Now you can get the actual profile, where you not only can you get wavelengths, but you can also measure intensity.
Yes.
The thing is, it depends on the CCD material and what wavelength you're at, because CCDs respond to different wavelengths in different manners.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So until we can get the computer interface correct, right, then we can build the spectrometer. Okay, this is my spectrograph. I built it for the purpose of taking the sun spectrum, the spectrum of sun, which has the Fraunhofer lines. Okay, and that's a big challenge for any spectralists. Okay, so I have to build one so I can point to the sun, and then use a digital camera here to photograph the spectrum, and that's a good spectrograph. Okay, and instead of fixing a piece of film at the end of the tube that you in all the other example, you can just tape a piece of CD in front of lens, and then point at this, not at the slit, 20 degrees to the right of the slit, and you can see the photograph the spectrum. Okay, so this is a very good photograph, that the spectrograph that I took with my wife's digital camera, and you can see this line very sharp. Okay.
It's too bad you could put a nose spectrum on each side of that, and
no, you can.
As you know.
Yeah, and if you, I think the light, if you look at it here, you can see very detailed spectrum, many different lines here, and so many different lines here. And actually, spectrographers, they can determine, what each line is from which orbital to another orbital. Okay, so.
You know what's funny, the solar spectrum, there's still ongoing work to identify all the different lines. It's, not all the lines in the solar spectrum have been accounted for.
Right. So there's still, if you can have people, if you just build better spectrographs and taking better pictures, and you get more information.
So from your last image that you had, so if you have that as a signature, right, and you measured each different type of,
let's say fluorescent or light source.
Mm-hmm.
From that, you can determine what light source it came from.
Yes. Because each, yeah, fingerprinting. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But some fingerprinting are sharper. Some fingers get. Some fingers are not that good. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. That's the fun of spectroscopy. Okay, the spectrum sun has many dark lines, which are first discovered by the Fraunhofer in the 18th century, I think. And the dark lines are caused by absorbing of atoms in the atmosphere of sun. Okay, healing was discovered that way because at the time on Earth, nobody knows the existence of healing, but they look at the sun and found, yeah, there's a line there, which does not correspond anything on the Earth. Okay, and so they name it healing. That's from the sun. And finally, they discover, I think in Texas, in one of the oil wells, they have lots of healing in it, and they finally identify it. So it's a challenge to photograph these lines. They are dark lines. Okay. I spent many hours, days to get it. Yeah, it doesn't. This room light is too big, but you can kind of see the dark lines. Okay, and that's the Fraunhofer, and I built that one specifically to photograph the sun, because you have to point at the sun, and you have to avoid all the lights from around the spectrograph so that your camera doesn't get bothered with the straight light. Okay, of course, the most challenging task is to build a spectrometer so that all the light will be measured and recorded, displayed, all electronically. Okay. As you can see, good digital camera has all these physical attributes, but there's no other computer interface in the current digital camera is not adequate to do spectroscopy. What we need is, a USB cable into the camera, and we can control the focus, the time, and all aspects of the camera, and then we can collect the spectrums from the camera and display it. So that's, it's technology is there. We don't have the interface, okay? But I think I'm not capable of building that interface. Okay, question. Yes, yes. It's all there. It's all there.
The next project.
It's all there. And I've worked with a camera chip. It has an I2C interface. And from the I2C interface, you can control all aspects of the camera. And then it has a parallel bus that you can read bytes back.
Really? The CCDs usually are read serially.
CCD, that's a,
CCD,
yeah.
It's read serially, one pixel at a
Mm-hmm.
time.
But the CCD is
okay, so you're talking about
the CMOS. Now it's all CMOS sensor.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So what you do is what you're reading is just byte after byte after byte after byte. After it gets digitized. Oh, and see, in astronomy, pixels are digitized to 16 bits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The more, the better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And you've got to get up to USB 3.0 before it will work. The 2.0 is just not fast enough.
Well, actually, the time is not that problem in spectroscopy.
It's a serial stream. You can't get your resolution from your CCD
Mm-hmm.
through that pipe of a USB 2. USB 3, you can get it.
Yeah, it's the speed. You know, time is not important in spectroscopy. We have years of time to wait. Okay,
That's
so
true.
so
It's a
get
fixed image.
it's the data that if the data is there, you know how soon we can get all the data. It's not a problem, but it's to get that data conveniently.
It has to do with integration time.
Yeah,
Expose
yeah.
CCD to the wire.
This is the this is gets into the details of things.
CCD, especially astronomical CCDs,
Mm-hmm.
take minutes,
Mhm.
several minutes to read out because
Mhm.
they're so
Because you've got so many
large.
pixels.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is you can't just read out part of it. You
Mhm.
gotta read out
You got to read the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's not a problem because you know in the astronomy, the CCD is still there, and they can collect light for days
exactly.
before you know they can integrate for a long time before they get enough light to register a good picture.
That's
Okay.
especially with the space-based
Mhm.
telescopes.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're looking at a star
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't get eclipsed by the Earth
Mm-hmm.
or anywhere near the sun.
Yeah.
You're in constant motion.
Yeah, constant motion,
Yeah.
but you're looking in one direction. Now remember, these stars they're looking at are
Oh.
very, very far away.
Yeah.
That's why you have that long integration time.
Yeah, I have the things to show you. Okay, so what I want to demonstrate to you is to get that get the from a piece of CD. You just cut it. Okay.
Surprised it cuts that clean.
Mhm.
You're using this as a transmission rate.
Yes, it's a refraction grating by itself.
That's what astronomy uses.
Yeah, yeah. It's the but
So we should be able to use this as is,
yes, yes,
as
yes,
long as it's
yes.
use it as a reflector.
Yeah, because during the reflective, you have you know the angles. You know the lights come this way, you reflect it over that way, and how you avoid the blocking the incident light. That's a problem. But a transmission, it's always in one line, and you have a much easier way of arrange things. So. Yeah, I think he demonstrated that he cut the edges, okay, and I found that if you are going to cut the CD anyway, so why just cut it?
Might give enough of an edge to pick up. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's cut cut an edge yeah. So, and this is the aluminum backing.
And you sort of destroyed the spectral. I think it's more curve. The curve, when you bend the curve, the quality is gone.
No, sorry.
Increase the resolution. Well, the thing is, with the CDs, if you look at the all the different ISO standards that were created for this, the red book, the green, I think there's like that deal with the actual
Okay.
dependency, the actual data that's written on these things. So that's why yes, their radius
Okay, one.
versus across, it doesn't destroy all the CRC bits that are on it.
Right. and they recreate the data. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It actually, you know.
But it's amazing that they've gotten this thing to be manufactured in this quantity.
Right. It's
quantity is
yeah.
killer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You did the quantity the quantity with that kind of quality.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, yeah, and what's weird is
that, but now, nope.
CDs and DVDs, and technically Blu-rays are kind of passe.
Yeah.
You know, right
Yeah.
now compared to
But.
Flash, static media, stuff like that.
Yeah. But one caution. I tried DVD. Don't use it. Okay. DVD doesn't work. Why? Because the lines are so narrow that the diffraction angle is too big. So you can hardly, you know, if you point this, if you have a flat CD, and you have to turn it so large an angle, you don't get enough light.
Right.
Okay.
Because the lines are so narrow.
Yeah, nice and narrow. So the diffraction angle is very big. Yeah. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. For that, you need to do ultraviolet spectroscopy. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. This is the digital storage or Soluxo, and John and I, we have the project to try to build it, and failed miserably. But now it's here. Okay, $170. The sampling rate $172 on Amazon, and the sampling rate is 72 megasamples per second. Okay, and it's very nice. But everybody's complaining that they couldn't use the 6 switches there to do the controlling, and the manual is in Chinese and Chinglish. So nobody can understand. Yeah.
If you translate it properly, it'll cost $300.
Yeah. So this is. I think if I can actually click on it has a signal generator in it, and generate square waves, triangle, sawtooth, and sine.
They always have to have the demos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here you can see the square waves. Okay, and then if you know what you're doing, I can.
This looks like at a couple maker fairs before that they had, LCD analyzers.
These things?
Yeah, that one.
This guy? I got a bunch.
Okay, here I think you have square waves and sine waves.
Well,
and triangle.
That does much better than this.
Yeah, the sawtooth.
This is only $50.
Yeah, that's right. And an earlier version of it, yeah, just hold on to these cables, okay. And if you this one controls the wave. Okay. So I was kind of excited with that. Yes, the cable kind of worn and all these things. And the people are complaining. And recently I got some for my Arduino project. Got some of this thing on Amazon. And basically the problem was that, if you want to hook something, signal to something, it's either the wrong sex, wrong type of connector. So here you have the male to male, female to female, and female to male. and you can connect anything to anything. I think it's about $2 for 3 pieces, plus $5 of shipping. And when you look at the shipping box, it's all from China.
Oh, yeah.
And here is a little camera that I was thinking of doing spectroscopy with. It's from China as well, and it's $10.
Oh, for the cameras. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
this is a
Raspberry
little.
Pi- That's similar to the Raspberry Pi one.
Okay, so that's only $10.
So what's this?
This is a small camera.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, and with all the mountains.
I think Wilson,
Yeah.
put up the money for that.
Yeah. So these are interesting things. And for Arduino project, this is nicest shield that I've found. You know, all the connectors, and even with 2 more switches, 2 more LED light, and solderless pad. Yeah, I think that this one is all for, yeah, only about $5. I couldn't resist.
It has frosty fronts.
It's a breadboard.
Hobby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get,
Where's the buying these?
Mhm.
Where's the buying these?
Amazon. Yeah, Amazon.
you
Mhm.
know,
So if you
it's like,
the DVD, this is DVD.
Adafruit.
The
so, but I just can't get over.
yeah, it's twice more resolution, twice more grooves per inch.
So yeah, the angle's a lot different.
Yeah, the angle is very big. Mhm. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, okay. Yes.
It's all box room over there.
Okay. Yeah, you can build it. All right. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Oh, yes, you can't see this.
Okay, let me turn things off.
Little more math. Did that make sense? Have you tried to, not, I think it would take a more mathematically fun to get it. It would have to sort of, yeah. So I do have one data point.
Oh.
This was made by a mandrel. 9-year-old. You do quite a lot. It's very little because you're. So that's helpful. But I see. I didn't do something. So they posted I don't know this kid. This is the father is the one who made some of these, and he taught his son. In Russia. So I never met any child with the father's first. Could you ask Dan everybody family gatherings somewhere else. Although I was worried what kind of play you would put. So I don't know. So I suspect right here it's like he had to know that okay he's going to He just has some work to start being low to sign. 就是9岁的孩子。That amazes me. I strongly support 9-year-old. 他爸爸教他呀，就是那个感觉。I have to join the same. If I were color video. The first thing you have to do is teach someone to be, make sure they understand RGB, and then try to go through and so everyone will say, okay, well, all of this will do. Can I get this? Totally. No, the GA.
Really, there's licensing issues.
There are $60 million worth of IP issues. Rights issues. Can't wait. Okay. I tried to do this cautious. Not so much, well, what I didn't hear, what I was trying to do was to get people a little more engaged. I tried to make it very fast and fun. So the recording online is not so very, but one of these days, that I was checking. And so how many minutes? Was grab. I forget how long the talk actually is. It's hard. So first, and then as you actually about the travel, what the appropriations and simple things look like, and then some ideas like, okay, how do you put an access, right? Or change how to use or what you have to use in comparison, right? There's one purpose compared to conventional form. I made a weird choice. I still wasn't sure about this. I made the comparison operation, which is 1-0, like C, not like because there was a bit less operation. Same kind of and an or and comparison 0-1. It's a little weird. I've been surprised by how many of these what people do. Because I didn't have bitwise operations, they created them using like exponentiation, and it's amazing how much trouble there's on. Didn't change it. They were offered the choice of
It's like, because it's running a report to court.
Yes, work, and then it's work, and then there's circumstances. So like, if you decide on to react on it, it's everything computers. Oh, you need to play well. Because I had this, you don't expect the lawyer to be doing tricky. Yeah, listen, so what you end up doing, if it was 30, we're actually now. Yeah, it's just hard and well, no, it's not as easy. Yeah, just you can say, okay, first of all, the scale you just couldn't do it the way you wanted to.
That should gravitate people with like that.
With peers. It's tricky. It's tricky because you don't have it right. You can't just draw into it directly. You just have to sort of reason it out. Where do I use words on the end?
Yeah, and they can justify that.
Oh, yeah.
In their mind. I'm not doing it a lot. Because it's there. All right. Anything else out there?
So, yeah. Pretty cool.
As it turns out, your case was revised. Yeah. The thing is, you know, one explains it.
Well, here, what I can do. And I'm still in the process. Right there. If anybody cares about mercury spectrum, you can take a look here.
Oh, yeah.
So I got the mercury light there. On one hand, it's very easy to use, but it's colorful. For something very simple, it's not. Blue line, hard to see.
Yeah, I see one blue line.
The black of it, it's another one.
Yeah. And then I see two very faint yellow lines.
Yes. There are four.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, that's a UV.
I was thinking when I was seeing this.
Yep. I remember it crossed.
Yeah. You see the atomic spectrum is very sharp. Then it's only the rare earth element. It's very sharp fluorescence light. But they are wrong. So the steel is very 99 and do it.
So really, with the broadening is caused by thermal.
Yeah. Right. In sort of iterative procedural way, then having a canvas and being able to draw.
So I know that's one way that we actually look. What they noticed is that the front upper line from the sometimes when they take a picture of it, they'll see one line, then they'll take a picture of it again and they'll see two lines where the one has in. And what they're seeing is the upper impact from the spinning flat, because on one side it's approaching, on the other side it's receiving. So you get partial oxygen and partial blue surface. And what happens is as the planet goes to the side of the star, that's when it collapses down the mountain. So when you see that periodic, that's one way is exactly. But obviously it only works for a gas. So. Now, I guess my other question is, what's the ideal placement for the radar? So is this something that, like, if I were to use this with my telescope?
Yes.
Would I want to put it flush with the eyepiece, or would I want to put it behind the eyepiece, or how would that work?
I think it's just about, you know, what it does is that the right amount eyes on the focus. You are still focusing on the distance, the same distance to the slit. Well, not the baby. It just depends on how you use it. If you want to create this, you want to do power to use concave lens. So that is
Power splitters.
and then use a gauge to deflect it and use another mirror to refocus it. So that's the process.
It's like you take some flashlight batteries and wire them parallel back and forth.
You can reasonably say that by coming in is parallel. So what if you had them to place the gradient at that box?
The gradient is working.
Although it already does that, I mean, this is getting this guy, it shows you like here.
Okay, we're going to start up in about a minute. So the stream's still running? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I guess we're having a meeting. Do we know where the belt clip is? Have we seen the belt clip lately? Sam, do you have the belt clip for the? Let's look on Ting's belt. Ting, do you have the belt clip for the microphone? Did you clip it to your belt?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe on Sam's belt, maybe. All right.
Well, Sam, did you clip the microphone to your belt?
Yeah, he has.
Do you still have it on your belt? No, there it is.
Yeah, all right.
What a release. Thank you. We have a spare. I think we have a spare. It may not be here, but it's somewhere. All right, so we streaming? Have emails been sent and all that crap?
That was sent out a while ago. We've had 2 speakers since then.
But then you stopped it. Can we get a new, same link? Oh, okay. May I have a minute of your time to blather? Okay, we're late. What else is new? We're either early or we're late. What are the other? In fact, for any event, you're either late or early. You're never exactly precisely on time.
Because that's impossible.
I don't know. Is time quantized?
I'm not sure about quantized, but it's constantly moving. Therefore, you cannot.
If you can hit exactly the right quanta, you're precisely on time.
Not only that,
By
but,
whose watch?
well, we do know that from the theory of relativity, that floor ages slower than the ceiling. So,
Correct.
so not only do we have to be exactly on time, but we also have to be at the right
Right, altitude. That's why it's impossible to be at the right time.
What's going on?
The floor ages.
Yeah. I'm not sure if age is different, but time is different.
Well,
Oh, that cheerful note. John! Many of you Johns are not participating in the meeting. You're conducting your own meeting. Brad. Okay. I heard it mentioned that we wanted to know how much more we can learn about how compact fluorescent lamps work. So this is really interesting stuff. And if you look at some of the teardowns and schematics and stuff that are on the web, it's just amazing stuff. So this is a quickie block diagram. You got your EMI filter because there's crap going out onto the line from this thing. You got your bridge rectifier to make DC. And then you make high frequency AC. And there's some blather about an electronic ballast circuit, low frequency AC to DC conversion, the input, high frequency DC to AC conversion. And if you're interested in this stuff, go look it up yourself because we haven't got time. It's Sam's turn, and I'd like to thank Sam for giving me the 2 minutes to blather about it.
So basically what you're saying is that a CFL is a conveniently packaged Tesla coil. I wonder if this will work.
So in my house, I have X10 controls for the lights. But if I plug a laptop in, the power supply wall wart causes enough EMI to stop the X10 from working. So I tried to buy one of these EMI wall plug filters. Apparently, they don't make them anymore.
Just to satisfy your needs, right?
Yes, right. Exactly. They used to make these things you could plug into the wall that would stop your wall power noise from interfering with your audio equipment. Yes. And apparently, it's not an issue anymore because the iPod isn't plugged into the wall.
Well, we got rid of tubes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Not
Times and
entirely.
harmonics.
Not entirely. There's still a substantial community of audio tube users, not to mention radio transmitter tubes.
Oh, yeah.
But
I know.
for a long time, the Russians led the world in producing electron tubes. You know, if you wanted a 6L6, you had to, phone Vladivostok or something to get in place. And then the Chinese took over the market, drove the Russians off the face of the electron tube world.
Okay, so we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way.
Are you mumbling to yourself? So I'm seeing dots and dots.
I am mumbling to myself because I'm trying to get the display to work. Would really appreciate it if my mouse pointer would stay where I left it.
One more set of for the tape. You don't want it?
Okay, so I have a stable display on my side. I have a stable display on that side. I wish that I could mirror the display, but unfortunately that's not doable. Wow, that's big. And apparently no way to bring it down. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to speak with my back to you because there's no way to view the display without me doing this. So what I wanted to talk about today is some experiences that I had trying to get Retroforth working on the Kestrel 3 environment. So I will start. I'll remove all the development stuff. Cool. So I'm going to rebuild the emulator. And I'm going to rebuild the virtual machine. So before porting this, I was spending some time trying to implement a more traditional Forth implementation in the Kestrel's, what do I want to say? The Kestrel's machine language monitor. And I realized, well, you know what? Just for the fun of it, let me see if I can't port this virtual machine called Nyaro, or at least I think that's pronounced Nyaro. And that's how it's spelled there, N-G-A-R-O. And the idea is, if I port this virtual machine, there's already a dialect of Forth called Retro that exists and runs in this VM. And so therefore, theoretically, if I get the VM ported, then the Forth should just magically work. And to a great extent, that is in fact the case. The portability of Nyaro is pretty impressive. Getting all the fine details implemented, though, was kind of a challenge. But first, let me show you the source code for Nyaro. It is 410 lines of code so far. I want to be absolutely clear here. That's 410 lines of assembly language. Very, very small. It does make use of macros, of course, to make things easier. In my case, I'm using the M4 macro package because my assembler does not actually implement macros on its own. The source code is up on GitHub, so anyone who wants to review this certainly may. The address layout is such that the VM's chunk of memory, which happens to be 1 megabyte in size, also sits at the 1 megabyte boundary. Their emulated I/O ports kind of sits below that. I allocated a kilobyte for that, and then all of my different stacks are 64K in size beneath that. There are 3 stacks in use. The AP is what you would traditionally call a return, the return stack. DP, of course, refers to the data stack. And SP refers to the emulators or the virtual machines stack. The programmer is actually only aware of these 2 stacks, just like any other fourth. This stack is only used by the virtual machine bytecode interpreter. This is kind of what the source code looks like. I'm not really going to dive into too much effort here, but I am going to scroll down a little bit to show you how I/O handling is done. Now, I/O handling is done kind of a really strange sort of way in Yarrow. Basically, you use these instructions to set I/O ports, quote unquote. They're not actually ports. They're better described as descriptors. And then there's an instruction called wait, which actually performs the I/O that you've configured in these descriptors. So for example, if I have a character sitting in the first port of the Yarrow VM, each port being 32 bits wide, hence the offset of 4 there, then I will go ahead and detect that and basically check to make sure that I've got a character to play with at the keyboard. So basically you set this port to non-zero value, and then you execute wait. And that is how the VM says, oh, you're trying to actually check the keyboard. Let me go ahead and do that. Console output works in a very similar way. And then for environmental stuff, you can actually query the virtual machine about how it does things. So for example, -1, if I write the value -1 to port 5, which is byte offset 20, then I'm basically asking the VM, how much memory do I actually have? How big is my data stack? And so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff here, but some debug stuff. This code came in extremely handy. So it turns out, let me see if I can find the file here. But it does turn out that no, I want hello, there we go. Why did that happen? So let me see. I think it's this. Yes. Okay. So while in the process of trying to figure out why a certain piece of code wasn't working the way I expected it to, namely if I typed a number or even pushed a character while it was waiting for me for a command, it would just spontaneously crash. And by spontaneously crash, I mean all 64K of my data stack was polluted with a single value result, which clearly indicated that there was a stack imbalance. I could not find where the stack imbalance was for the life of me. So what I did was I instrumented the assembly code, which is what all this rigmarole is here. Lots of instrumentation, blah, 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 including a little symbolic representation of the VM instructions. And I compared it against a similar instrumentation in a known good implementation of Neuro. And it turns out my stack depth is off by 1, but otherwise it tracks everything pretty well up until a certain point. And let me see if I can find that here. It's actually, there's a very subtle difference where suddenly I have a stack depth offset of 2 instead of 1. And it happened on this particular, or I'm sorry, it happened on this subtract instruction here. That's where the difference happened. So once I knew that, I could come back up into these defines here. There's a define bin op. And you see that I in that instruction that says add immediate value. Without that, this is saying add register DP or add to register DP the contents of register 4. So in other words, like most RISC assemblers, there's no dedicated symbol that says this is a register. All your register names are simply equates for integer constants. What actually tells the assembler that that is a register is whether or not I have that I appended to that instruction. That took me probably the better part of a day and a half to find, because I tried everything that I could possibly think of to see if I can't locate the source of that stack imbalance. All right, so moving on from there. Let me show you just how reasonably small the instruction pump is. So that's the first half of the instruction pump. Let me see if I can fit the whole thing. I hope that the people online can see that. There you go. So the instruction pump actually has a very similar structure to bit threading. In fact, I would argue that it works just the opposite of bit threading, where what it does is a range check. Instructions from 0 to, in this case, 30 are considered primitives, and we actually look them up in a lookup table and execute the appropriate procedure for that, and then we just go back to the start. So that's kind of what this VMI get does here. This is actually doing an instruction fetch. We then do our range check here, commented out some debug code. We do our multiply by 4 because everything's all 32 bits in this case. And then we look it up in the lookup table. We do some effective address calculations. We call the handler routine for that, and then we return. If anything is value 31 or above, we treat that as an address of a subroutine. And that's what this VM call does. We basically push everything onto our return stack, or what Neuro calls the address stack. And then we just return after reloading the virtual instruction pointer. Fairly basic, fairly mundane, not a whole lot going on here. The actual implementation of the handler is as follows. Again, these are all done up with macros to eliminate a lot of the code duplication. There is a bug in the division code, which I'll demonstrate here pretty soon. Here are the instructions that I was telling you about earlier, the in, out, and wait instructions. In, of course, like I said before, that basically says whatever value, whatever port you're writing to, just multiply it by 4 and then stuff the value into that region of memory. It is interesting to note that vport is outside the range of fetch and store. So you can never use fetch and store to corrupt vports. However, as I've implemented this, you can use vports to corrupt the main dictionary because they're off by only a kilobyte. And then out does, well, I'm sorry, in this code here actually fetches data out does the opposite. This actually sets data and actually does the VM drop. Wait, the wait instruction calls here. And basically what it does is we call a subroutine VM do IO, which is what I showed you earlier. And then we just do a bunch of cleanup code and then just return. Not a whole lot. And then here we, this is some M4 black magic that basically says build the jump table here. Now, this actually works because we have this code here, that divert instruction that you see up here. M4 is unique in that it has multiple output queues. So here I'm saying in output queue number 1, output a jump instruction pointing to the routine that I'm about to assemble. Then we switch back to the default output and we actually produce the code for our primitive. So what happens is, if we look at the result of the macro expansion, here we've got all the jumps that lead to our implementations, and then up over here we have all of the implementations. So in one place, I'm defining the code that needs to appear in 2 separate places in the output in order for it to be well structured. This is one of the things I remember when I studied ColorForth for the first time, because ColorForth also separates out your code addresses from your definitions. How do you express that cleanly in most assembly macros? You really can't do it. There's not a very easy way to do it. So you end up duplicating code. With the using M4's ability to divert to multiple output queues, this becomes piece of cake, trivial to implement, which I'm quite happy with. Math. This is some interesting code that I had to write. So my RISC-V emulator does not implement a multiplier division instruction, and it will not for quite some time. So I had to write this all by hand. I had to teach it how to do multiplication. The code itself is actually fairly simple. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but take a look at the size of the numbers that's involved. 128-bit partial sums, 128-bit multiplicand, right? These are absolutely ginormous numbers that this thing is able to process. And it's able to do it fairly efficiently. Keep in mind that this CPU, like my predecessor, does not have a carry flag. So how do you detect carry? This is where things actually get pretty nice. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm doing a comparison. If you are greater than or equal to, in some cases, 0, then I know that a carry did not happen. Or if I'm less than an operand, then I know that a carry did not happen. So in this case, I'm actually checking to see if the result of an addition is less than one of its inputs. Because if that happened, that means that I carried, and therefore I have to add 1 to the final result manually. Kind of little dirty tricks like that. Here's some multi-precision bit shifting examples. These are kind of ugly, but when you think about in terms of runtime performance, like in an ideal RISC environment, each of those 128-bit shifts would take literally 4 cycles. Contrast this with a shift on, say, a 68,000 or something suitable of that era, and you're looking at a minimum of like 30 cycles plus however many bits you're shifting. And then when we're done, we just return everything and restore our registers. Division is interesting. I know that this divider works when you use unsigned numbers. The bug that I spoke about earlier is the fact that it does not bother detecting the signs. I will add that a little bit later. But here's interesting because we're dealing with a 192-bit quantity. That's 3 64-bit words being used as our divisor. This algorithm was actually taken right off of Wikipedia. So I'm not claiming that this is particularly clever code, nor is it particularly fast, but it does seem to do the trick. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to actually invoke the virtual machine. Oh, what happened? Oh. So at this point, I'm booted into the Kestrel 3 environment. It is currently sitting at a machine language monitor. I can do things like look at CPU registers, or I could dump memory. The way that I get into the Neuro environment, though, is I give it an address, and I tell it to jump to that address, which is like any other machine language monitor. So there we have Neuro. It is actually working, as long as you don't divide negative numbers. I have a word which I pre-compiled into the image called foo. It just prints hello world. We can define new words. Yeah, because it doesn't print the CR. Yeah, there's like it seems to be working pretty well. But like I said, if I try to do, you know, that's clearly wrong, right? So it's off by 1, and it's at least a positive result. For double negatives, yes. However, that's very wrong. Yeah, exactly. Minor details, exactly. But as long as you give 2 positive numbers, or if the numerator is negative and you have a certain subset of denominators, it'll of course give the right answer. But it's not complete yet. Like I have to get it to recognize the different cases of, is the numerator negative, if it's the denominator negative, are they both negative, you know, that sort of thing. And apparently there's like ways of handling each of those 3 cases.
Have a very straightforward way of doing it that's in only for making everything an unsigned by checking the sign, and there's a single number you need to add if you're doing a sign and an unsigned numbers going in. It just adds it 1 extra time to subtract, so that it subtracts out the right amount after inverting the numbers.
Right.
So take a look at only for implementation of divide, UN divide or whatever.
Right.
You'll see a straightforward way of doing it.
Cool. I'll definitely take a look. So for the people who are trying to listen in remotely, the suggestion was to take a look at Polyforth's implementation of UM/mod, or its equivalent, and because it's a particularly elegant way of handling signed versus unsigned numbers. Cool. So my next, and this is the other thing too, it doesn't exit out. The way you actually exit from this right now is I have to create a word, and I can just put garbage on, and then that overflows the stack, and then that causes an illegal instruction trap. So that right now is the only way to exit from Neuro. I will, of course, address that in a little bit later, but right now there's bigger, more pressing issues at hand. So besides getting the division, I think once I get the division code implemented, and working, the very next step for me is to get mass storage emulation working. This is going to be interesting because I am going to attempt, I don't know how foolhardily this is, but I'm going to attempt to emulate an SD card in the emulator. This is going to be interesting because the SD initialization protocol is freaking ridiculously complicated. Once it's initialized, it's a piece of cake to use. It's just getting the initialization correct. That's the issue. So that'll be an interesting exercise. After the storage is implemented, my next steps are to there's basically two next steps essentially. One is to somehow find a way to emulate a PS2 keyboard, which is going to be a unique challenge for me because I've never gone from ASCII to PS2 scan codes before, but we'll find that should be interesting. And also emulating a bitmap display. Once I have all of that working, where I have a reasonable facsimile of SD card, keyboard, and bitmap display, then I will feel confident that, okay, maybe now is a good time that I should start actually investing in writing Verilog code and actually starting to get hardware working. And so that's kind of what I've been working on. I still do intend on finishing my own version of Forth for it because, as you saw, like everything in everything up in this region here, that's me hitting the spacebar instead of the return key. So some things on the retro command line are immediate, other things not so much. And it has really strange side effects. So for example, if I do :foo and then some unknown word, traditionally you would get, you know, a question mark or something like that, but then you'd fall back to the interpreter. But you don't, you're actually still in compile mode. Likewise with comments, sometimes you'll open parens, you'll type something and then close parens, and as soon as you hit close parens, boom, you know, it's like new line because it interprets that comment immediately. And it's kind of, from a user interface perspective, it's kind of jarring. And I'm not really happy with how the UI works. But as far as the VM itself goes, it runs pretty well. And I can definitely tell you that code that I have written for retro that works fine on a laptop also work fine on, quote unquote, the Kestrel 3 because the VM is so similar. So yeah, getting block storage implemented, getting keyboards support implemented, and getting an actual video display working instead of this debug IO. Those are the three next steps, and who knows when I'll finish them, but hopefully by the end of this year. Cool. Any questions? No?
It's just cool to see you implementing a Forth in Kestrel.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy programming in assembly language with it, which I would not have expected because you would think, oh, it's a RISC processor. It's just a really, you know, it's hard to keep track of so many registers and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that's an issue, but generally it's not that bad. If you lay out your registers correctly, it's almost like programming a 6502 in a lot of ways. Because if you treat your register bank as you would zero page, you regain a lot of the fun from programming. Now, if you're trying to interface to C, you have no choice, but you have to save all your registers, and then you preload and you lift blah blah blah, and then when you're done, you have to restore all your registers and stuff. And that happens here too, but it's not nearly so frequent that you know, that it becomes an issue. And then, of course, you throw M4 macro processing into it, and you have multiple output queues, and that allows you to create some fairly sophisticated program structures in very small amount of code. I mean, 410 lines of assembly debugged in 3 days. That's basically 3 days worth of effort. So yeah, that's the current experiences that I've had porting Retro, and I'm definitely going to use Retro as a test mule, and then write my own forth, and then we'll see how it goes. Oh, also, people have probably seen this. I don't know if this is coming up on video or not, but I also have a user's manual. So basically, as I finish things, I will be updating a user's manual. User's manual is actually hosted online. I just printed this out so that people can actually watch it or take a look at it. I'll pass that around. If that copy gets destroyed, I don't care, because like I said, it's all online. I actually just printed that out at the office, basically. So eventually, once this is done, I'll be updating that manual. So this kind of teaches people how to use the machine language monitor. I'll just be adding a chapter, how to use RetroForth, and then drop into it and stuff. So, what's that? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Before I actually update the user's manual, though, I definitely need a way to load programs, to store programs. Otherwise, yeah, it'd be very difficult. Cool. It's one of the few times I'm actually done early. Yeah. Oh, okay. So just so everybody knows, that was the last presentation for today. So we are going to be closing up shop, and we'll see you next time. Adieu.